IT professionals in general, but it seems to be very kind of resident in federal IT very specifically. The not built here attitude seems to be really problematic. So one of the things the Department of Defense has actually recently started doing is really trying to expand the U.S. digital service footprint in this thing called DIUX, the DOD Innovation Unit Experimental that's out in California now, but also link it back to the Pentagon, and try to erode is not the right term, but invade the traditional program of records that are vertical silos of defense integrators trying to build solutions custom designed for the specific mission and application. Typically they're weapon systems, so there's some argument to be unique in nature, but in many cases, and I'll use the example is JITSIP, soon to be some unknown, we're having an all hands tomorrow, we're getting a new name, I just don't know what it is, so it'll be a surprise to me as much as everyone else.
It'll be on Breaking News 4 tomorrow. So.
I'm sure I'll get Chris to write about it in a blog or something. The other Chris Droberg, anyway. But like we're building a cloud inside the Pentagon, right? So we have not endless debates, but I'm now in charge of strategy and plans and architecture for the entire National Capital Region IT investment from a DOD perspective, right? So the question that I always said is, well,
you just made yourself important, you know.
I did.
So.
Well, that's the new title, right? So we're having these discussions about changing the way that we do acquisition, right, to address the functional requirements. So right now we're building a cloud. We're legitimately buying the software and we're cobbling it together such that it is, and we're building it out. CIA, for example, took a completely different approach. They put an RFP in the street, right? Ultimately, a vendor was selected and they rolled a couple trucks up to the building and they plugged them in and there's the cloud, right? I'm not sure that we can do that in the Pentagon, but certainly outsourcing it is the way that I think we need to go. So what we're trying to do is use a data-driven approach, not in terms of the decision-making, but in terms of the risk posture of the building and the sensitivity of the information to tell us whether or not we can outsource the data completely or whether we can outsource the service that holds the data. And then once we do that, actually figure out how does the data need to be protected. Is it cell level encryption? Is it bulk encrypted? Does it need to be encrypted whenever it's in transit? Now FISMA, not so FISMA, FedRAMP and some of the RMF sort of things, risk management framework, lead us down that road and give us guidance, but none of them are specific. And it kind of says in general you need to provide confidentiality. It doesn't tell us how and when, but there's no way for them to gauge our information. So we're actually doing a little bit of a data analytics on it and assessing who is the customer, what is the traditional confidentiality integrity sort of requirements on the data.